I will be the first to admit I don't know why it's Zoot. Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Zelda Ocarina of Time, the name of the game.
And then the
All right.
I guess it could be
is the randomizer aspect.
T-Zooter. The Zooter.
The Zoot. Yeah. Okay. I'm so used to Oot. Like Oot.
Good start.
Yeah.
Hi, hello. Welcome to Dear PB, a podcast where we hopefully help you become a better speedrunner, but probably won't. I'm Corva May. You can call me May, or she, or her.
I'm Swoos. You can call me SWC, or he, or they.
And joining us from Hyrule, it's Nukes.
Hello. You can call me Nukes, or she, or her.
And we're gonna, I think this is our second Zelda episode, I believe. This is our second Zelda episode?
What was the first?
Didn't we do Legend of Zelda DX?
Yeah, we did.
I
remember that. I was there.
You were in fact there for every one of them, so I would hope.
Anyways.
What you heard in the cold open, unless Swoos forgot to edit it in,
I'll do my best.
Is our first attempt at recording this, where the game feed immediately cut out. Did the timer start?
Yeah.
I'll hit play now.
It's a new timing method. You get it after you talk to that statue.
Yeah. It's statue timing.
Yeah.
Nukes, how's it going?
Good. I'm happy to be here. We're doing some zooterin,
which I now know what it means.
Zelda Ocarina of Time Randomizer, or Zooter.
Big win for me, understanding the terminology.
Congratulations on being able to identify the first letter of multiple words.
Yeah. It's harder than you think.
It is.
It's
I put on a setting on here that is very spicy that I did not mean to put on, and that is one bonk KO, so...
Good start.
That's a good start.
All right. Well, welcome to one bonk KO. One bonk KO. Obkozu.
Obko.
The Obko Reina of Time.
Obko. That's, you know what? That's what we've been trying to figure out what to call this setting. The community. And
it's the Macarena of Time.
Yeah.
This is why we get paid the big Patreon dollars.
Yeah, of course. We are actually we run all of speedrunning. It's little known fact, but
it's true.
Yeah.
People think that it's like that it's GDQ, but it's actually us. We're the real.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm here. I know. I totally get it.
Exactly. We're doing advice, as we often do. But before we do advice, we're going to ask our guest a question. And that question is, this is so natural.
I don't know. Why are you hyping this up so much? How did you start speedrunning?
It's because I forgot the order of the show.
How did I start speedrunning? So, okay. Back in 2015, I became big obsessed with speedrunning. I discovered GDQ. And I was like, I would never do that. That looks hard and a lot of time commitment. And then lots of things happened, and I met Spike Vegeta, and he gave me the means to play Ocarina of Time Randomizer. And I said actually for years that I didn't even think that this was speedrunning. I didn't consider myself a speedrunner until actually this year when I got invited to do this on SGDQ. And then I finally accepted that I was a speedrunner, so I guess that's the story.
Understandable, yeah.
So now I'm a speedrunner.
You're on this show, and this is a speedrunning show, and thus, as the arbiters of speedrunning, the overseers of speedrunning, we officially dub you speedrunner.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Everybody at home clap along official. Now I'm a speedrunner.
Now it's official.
Exactly.
Now it's official. Not being on GDQ,
No.
This is it.
It's like, it might sound gatekeepy, but we'll let anybody be on the show, so like...
It's like being knighted.
That's not actually true. We will not let anybody be on the show.
Next episode.
Only
redacted.
speedrunners like myself.
Only speedrunners, exactly.
And if you
And
don't think you're a
speedrunners that
speedrunner,
aren't problematic.
we can make you a speedrunner.
There's a whole series for that, I've heard.
There's a Twitter account for that. Yeah.
Let Spoos make you a speedrunner. My favorite tutorial series.
Yeah.
I love this bit that's for me and for
There's
like 3 other
also
people.
there's also a whole Twitter account about making up a speedrunner where you
That's-
too
who
can be
runs
made
that?
up as a speedrunner. I don't know. Some cool person who also
y'all should go check that out.
yeah.
This is very funny to me because you run a hotfix show, which is
do.
speedrunning,
I
which
Whoa.
do.
existed before your GDQ run, and thus you are a professionally paid speedrun content creator before this
Ooh.
in so many ways.
Yeah.
And 2, I like think of you as like one of the like a more veteran speedrunner too. And so
Oh,
it's very funny.
gosh.
It's very funny.
High praise.
To hear like, oh yeah, but until this year, no.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've been around GDQ and the speedrun scene for quite a while, I'd say now, which is kind of weird. Now I feel old, like, saying that and looking back at how... Because, yeah, back 2015 was 7 years ago, and
Yeah, that's when I
Yeah.
started too.
I started volunteering for GDQ back in 2016, so it's been quite a while, but I didn't... And I definitely have, like, you know... I do a lot with Frame Fatales and
Mhm.
GDQ in general, hotfix, and I
I
do
think you
this a
can-
lot, and yeah, I never really considered it official speedrun. I guess because I look at Randomizer as like speedrunning adjacent content, but
Right.
Mhm.
it is at its core, you know, we're going fast, and that is speedrunning.
If
Yeah.
there's a timer going, it's a speedrun.
Yes,
true.
Yeah, you're trying to
Also-
go faster. Yeah.
It's always an interesting thing because I feel like a lot of people tangentially involved in like what officially defines you as a speedrunner. Because
Mhm.
there are a lot of people like who work within like, I guess the speedrun industry does not sound right, but like have a professional role putting on like with GDQ or like, you know, other similar like things in a production sort of way, right?
Mhm.
And then are they some of them are speedrunners, some of them aren't. Where's the line? Who can say?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And,
think
like,
at the end of
I'm-
the day, if you try to go fast in a video game and you're looking at your times, you're a speedrunner.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. It is not. There's not a whole laundry list of requirements to be a speedrunner.
That's
It's
why
like it's like being a gamer.
true. All you gotta do is game.
Whoa.
It's why every guest on the show is a speedrunner, because we put a timer on, regardless of what you're doing,
True.
and thus you become a speedrunner even if you weren't one already.
Right.
So shout outs to first ever bonus episode guest Dizzying Spinster, officially a speedrunner. Even though she will 0% think this is true. And if you're listening to this right now, Lauren, too bad. It's official now. Haha. You have to come to GDQ now. That's the law.
It is. You
True.
got called a speedrunner on this show.
Now you
Yeah.
have to go. I mean, Lauren would actually like. Lauren knows a ton of Kaizo people, so that actually wouldn't be like a hard sell. Speaking of Kaizo, this is an advice show.
Hmm.
Yep. Where you send in questions, and then we impart upon you our wisdom through our mutual many years of speedrun adjacency.
Yep.
Because no, this is a bad joke. I'm not going to say it.
Anyways.
Not like in an offensive way. It's just not funny. Moving on. Dear PB, in your opinion, why do they call it a Triforce? From Spoon Mage. Because there's 3 of them.
There's 3 of them,
that
and
has-
it's a force.
Oh, the Force part probably makes
Yeah,
it.
so you know Star
okay.
Wars? You know how there's the trilogies of Star Wars?
Okay.
Triforce is actually a reference to the Star Wars trilogy because there's the
Oh.
Force, and Tri
Oh.
means there's 3 of them. So it's actually up to you which trilogy you want to be involved in. There's a subset of the Zelda community that's called the prequel Triforces. Then there's the sequel Triforces. Then there's the new Triforces, which are people that just picked up the games within the last couple of years. People really don't respect them as much because they do a lot more edited stuff. Like they have a lot of like the CG stuff, but yeah, they're still pretty all right. The sequels really are kind of problematic, but that's okay.
So my thought is that keep in mind as a sort of baseline for this is I did really badly in physics. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if I remember correctly, there are three fundamental forces. There's
Okay.
gravity, there's magnetism,
Okay.
and then there's like the weak and strong force, but they're like kind of the same thing, I think.
Okay.
I did not do well in this
that
subject. So that's like a try and a half force. So I think it's just
Try
a
and a
reference to
half.
physics.
That makes sense.
And
Yeah.
force is mass divided. It's been
Force
way
is
too long.
mass times
Mass
acceleration.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Fama.
Yeah. Fama.
You can remember because it's Full Metal Alchemist.
I don't
Oh,
remember because
there
of
you
that.
go.
But thank you.
Yeah, that's from someone from my community asking that question, and that I learned what Triforce is because some rando came to my stream and they said, "Hey Nukes, did you know that it's called the Triforce because tri equals 3 and there's 3 of them?"
Oh, and they were
So
serious.
that's why that
Whoa.
I was taught that day after being involved with Zelda and playing all the Zelda games. I never knew until that person came and told me. So
Ready? I'm gonna blow your mind.
yeah.
You know why they
What
call it a
kind-
triangle? It's because there's
Because
3
when you
angles.
try in the hot food,
there's 3 angles.
Yeah,
What's the try part? Does that mean 3?
I guess allegedly.
no,
Oh.
it's because it's doing its best.
Oh.
Yeah, it did its best. It can only muster 3 angles.
Okay.
It's trying so hard.
It's trying. It's trying.
Yeah.
God, that's like what
Who
level
does that?
what level of guy is that?
Did you know it's called The Legend of Zelda because you play as Zelda?
Yeah, that was a
Yes,
moment.
that is true. It's just I just can't imagine like the naive reading of this that I hope is the case is this person figured that out, like they learned that today and they were so excited and they were like, nobody knows this. That's
Like,
crazy.
It's like a 10-year-old like running home to like tell
Oh.
their parent. It's like, Mom, I learned about shapes today. I learned what a
Shapes
circle
today,
is.
yeah.
It's like, okay, that's nice.
Like I know
Cool.
that's almost certainly
Mhm.
not what happened, but I want
No.
to believe that's what
Yeah.
happened.
You hope there's
Yeah.
a sliver of you
Yeah.
that hopes that that's not they weren't trying to be condescending and they weren't trying to look at me and be like, this
Let
bitch
me-
doesn't know what try means.
Let
I
me
have to let her
mansplain
know.
what a fucking triangle is. Like, come
Okay,
on.
on a question, on a scale from 1 to 10, how many forces are in with 1 being 1 force and 10 being 10 forces? How many forces are in this game?
Epona is a force, therefore at least 1.
Okay,
This one.
gotcha.
Definitely Rudo is a force to be reckoned
Rudo.
with.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Is Ganon a force?
No. He just stands. So Ganon, you get to the end of the game here, right? And we won't see that because this is like way too long for this podcast. But when you get up to the top, he's just standing there and dramatically turns around and flips his cloak. I think he's just, he's just minding his own business, really, at the end of the day.
Fair.
Yeah, I could see that.
He's just, trying to seem menacing, but not really doesn't pack a punch when you get up there.
Is Tingle a force?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What kind of force? A
Oh,
force
no.
for good? A force of nature?
Chaotic.
Yeah.
Chaotic force?
Chaotic neutral.
Chaotic, all of them. I mean, Tingle has his own games.
That is true. And there's the Tingle Tuner.
What's the dating sim Tingle game?
Oh, gosh. I know there's like Tingle's Rosy Rupee Adventure or something like
Yeah.
that.
So Tingle has 4 games. Well, yeah, 4 games. There's freshly
That
picked
many?
Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land,
Oh, okay.
which is kind of like a Zelda-like. There's Tingle's Balloon Fight DS, which is Balloon Fight
Yeah.
with Tingle. There's the Too Much Tingle pack, which is like
Oh,
it's just like a DSiWare app. There's a calculator, a little dancing tingle image, a fortune teller, a timer, and a coin flipping minigame. And finally,
Oh, they really put a lot of effort into that one, huh?
yeah, then finally there's Ripened Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love, which is a
Not the
parody
dating
of The
sim.
Wizard of Oz. And it's also like
What?
Horny.
what?
Yeah. All right, here's the lore. The game starts with an ordinary 35-year-old man, just a regular dude. While he watches a sales program on television, the man learns of a book that is deemed to make its readers popular amongst the ladies. He orders the book, but he gets sucked into the world of a picture book when he opens it and transforms into Tingle. He learns that the only way to get out of the book is to dance with the princess of this world, which is the main goal of the game. The game is a parody of The Wizard of Oz. So
This
it's a
is-
horny dude,
What?
Okay.
gets sucked into a book, and that's about it. And Tingle is apparently you.
But where's the romance?
I think
I
Tingle
don't
is-
know.
In a
Who
way,
am I
Tingle is all of us.
romancing?
It's
in
also
this.
a Nintendo DS point and click game.
What?
I think all this
Nintendo
means
made
is I need
this
to
was
play
never-
this game.
And it
This
is
was-
non-canon, according to the Zelda fandom wiki.
Okay. This was never ported, was it?
No, this is
Okay.
this is Japan exclusive, released in 2009.
I hope there's a fan translation of this.
Yeah.
I feel like Tingle's something that they just fully don't acknowledge anymore. They're just like, yeah, that was a weird phase you were in.
Yeah.
Tingle's
I'm trying
weird.
to think of what, because Tingle was in a lot of games, and then I'm trying to think of when's the last game that Tingle was really present
Was
for.
he in the DS games?
Uh,
I can probably just look at his appearances.
Those
honestly,
are a
already on
fever
the
dream to me.
I'm already on the Zelda fandom wiki, so
I want to say he was in Twilight Princess, and then I don't know
So-
if there was much after that. Maybe some of the Hyrule Warrior games.
you get a
um,
Tingle outfit in Breath of the Wild.
so he's in Majora's Mask. He's
Yeah.
in Oracle of Ages,
Mhm.
Wind Waker, Four Swords Adventures, Minish Cap, and then he appears as a cameo in Phantom Hourglass Spirit Tracks and Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Oh, why did I think he was in Twilight Princess? Must have been Skyward Sword, I was thinking. But yeah,
And then he's
kind
also
of,
technically in the Smash games, but
Yeah. But
so there's like
that's- who
nods
isn't?
to
Exactly, yeah, who
Tingle,
isn't?
but not actually Tingle in more recent games, like the costume.
right, yeah. Like Tingle as a character has not appeared as a full character since Minish Cap.
Cowards.
Yeah, genuine.
Bring
I mean,
back
people,
Tingle.
the people love Tingle. Like,
Exactly. They want a ting.
They want a ting.
Yeah, let's just all sit on that for a while.
Yeah.
All right.
yep.
That's a good place
PB.
to stop for a second.
Dear PB, I don't think this is actually a question for Dear PB. I think this question is a Dear Nukes. When are you going to ditch Ocarina of Time, which is clearly the worst Zelda game, and start speedrunning Spirit Tracks any percent? From the John Lewis.
Ooh.
I knew as soon as you said Spirit Tracks who that was from.
I'll do you one better. When are you going to speedrun Ripen Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love?
Okay.
Really, that is the hot game we should be talking about.
Yes,
there is a
I
speedrun of it.
100%
It's like
agree.
5
Yeah.
hours, I think.
5 hours?
5 hours!
Let me find
Well,
it. Yeah,
that-
5:45.
They need
Okay, no,
more
thank you.
runners for that game. That's probably why.
100% is almost 10 hours.
All right. That needs to be... All right, my New Year goal is that.
We can get that sub 3 hours, I think.
I believe.
No, I've actually been doing a lot of Wind Waker rando. Now I've moved on to, fresher grounds. Looking into Breath of the Wild rando.
Ooh.
Never Spirit Tracks. Spirit
I've never
Tracks.
played
Ugh,
Spirit Tracks. Because
don't
don't-
do it.
all of the DS Zeldas, I played. Okay, I guess all is. So I played Phantom Hourglass after not liking Twilight Princess, and was like, "Wow, I don't like this either."
Oh, that was a bad. Yeah, that's so all this. So I recently back when I was like doing a partner grind a couple years ago on Twitch, I played through all the Zelda games. Except for the Tingle games. I didn't play those, but like all the mainline Zelda games.
I'll take the definitive ranking.
And my least favorite was Spirit Tracks.
Okay.
And Phantom Hourglass was a little bit above it, but not by much. And that's just the DS Zelda games like definitely went through the, hey, this is the DS. It can do all these cool things. And everything is touchscreen. Everything. And it's just not a good
They're not
time.
good.
No.
And then Phantom Hourglass is like, what if you did the same dungeon 80 times?
Yes. Yeah. It's just not, I see what they were trying to do, and there was definitely good moments. I actually think that Spirit Tracks has the best rendition of Zelda as a character. Like, that one's really spunky and really fun to interact with, but everything else is trash.
That's fair.
Also, you fight a big giant evil train at the end.
Okay, that's good though.
That's good.
That's like
but
the
it's
demon
like
train
it's
in
this
Final
weird
Fantasy.
like Pac-Man thing. I don't know. You have to explain
The Pac-Man train.
it. Yes. Yeah. It's
I guess-
like
Perfect.
the trains are trying to run into you, and you're trying to escape them on the tracks, and it's like kind of like Pac-Man, except you crash and die.
Spirit
Yeah.
Spirit Tracks is a bummer because conceptually the idea of we're going to make a Zelda game and it's going to be about trains is amazing, but then they just flubbed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like a
it was
lot
on
of
the
people
DS.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel like a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's bad because I can't believe they took Zelda instead of him becoming a wolf. Now there's trains. It's lame it's for children." And it's like, no, that part's actually good though. It's the gameplay that's bad.
Yes. Yeah. There's, and it's like the overworld the train thing also kind of limits your overworld travel. You have to take the same lines a lot of the time, so it slows down that too. And also you have the Phantom Hourglass syndrome of having to do the same dungeon over and over and over again. So
Would you say it railroads you?
it derails me.
Oh. All right. What about the other ones? What do they all stack up?
Like all the Zelda games?
All the Zelda games.
I wish
All
I
the
still
Zelda
had. I
games,
made a
every
tier
single
list,
one.
and then I got roasted on Twitter for it. So
I bet. So somebody
it's gone
who
now.
constantly gets
but-
roasted for their Zelda takes, I really want to hear. Where's Minish Cap?
Minish Cap was like I want to say an A rank for me. That's one of my favorite 2Ds.
Hell yeah, Minish Cap rules.
Yeah, that
Where's-
one's really great.
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword, so that's gonna be like a high C because the
Okay.
game is pretty because there's a lot of backtracking, a lot of doing the same thing, but it's so essential to the Zelda like story
Canon.
as a whole.
Mhm.
Like
I think
you miss so
Sorry.
much if you don't play that game as a Zelda fan in terms of like the entire story of the Zelda universe.
it's my A minus B plus. And my
Okay.
reasoning for that is that I played the entire thing in about 2 sessions at a friend's
wow.
house, and that is how that game is meant to be played because because like so much of that game is like, oh, every time you open the game, you get little pop-ups for every single thing that happens because we forgot that you.
Yes,
What
yep.
if you forgot? If you play it all in one session, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
You only
Run
do
the
the
game.
pop-ups once. Exactly. Also, Groose is good.
Groose is really great. Yes. Yes, Groose is definitely one of the best characters in the Zelda universe.
Where is Twilight Princess?
I actually not a big fan of Twilight Princess.
I hate Twilight
I think
Princess.
It's
That's why I'm
super
asking.
it's super overrated.
I agree.
I don't like, people the dungeon items, you can't use them outside of the dungeons for anything. It's like, yep, this item belongs to this. And there's cool things. Like, I think it has some of the really cool boss fights. I actually really love Zant at the very end. He's like a culmination of everything in that game, and it's a great end boss. But the game as a whole, just no. And I don't like being the wolf and looking for the little light things. Like, that whole part was a drag.
I
Yeah.
hate when Zelda tries to be edgy, and for like after coming off of Wind Waker, which is like a top
Yes.
5 Zelda ever.
Number 1.
Fantastic. Number 1.
Number 1.
Okay, I think
number
I think
1
it's,
for me.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
I think it's
It's the only one
number
I
3.
played, so it's my number
I think
one.
it's number 3 for me. Because Breath of the Wild and then Link to the Past.
That's fair. Yeah.
But
And
like
also the Tingle games.
well, we're not including the Tingle games.
Oh,
'cause the
okay,
Tingle,
separate
the Tingle,
series.
The Tingle, yeah, exactly,
Right,
separate
right.
series.
Understandable.
It's not the Legend of Tingle, unless there
It
is
should
that.
be.
It should
It should be.
Like following up Wind Waker with that, I'm like, what? Because like, oh my god, I love the art style of Wind Waker. It's so good, and I hate like Twilight Princess. Like, what if we made Ocarina of Time but turned down the contrast?
It's edgy.
Turned up the contrast and turned up down the brightness.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. I'm not a fan of the art style of that game either. I think that's part of it is
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like
yeah. It
They
just
wanna make,
it
like,
rubs
a-
me the wrong way. Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you.
I think that's part of why I like Skyward Sword too. Is because Skyward Sword is a lot brighter of a game.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like Skyward Sword feels like Skyward Sword feels like a I don't know how to describe it. Like the art style for that game, it's just so like it's not. I'm like totally stuck now about how I feel about the art style of that game, but I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Wild card, Four Swords Adventures.
See, that one I don't know if I have a good take on because I've only played it by myself.
Okay, that's fair.
So I think if I and that was kind of my comment playing through that game was I think if I played it with other people, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. Because it's definitely meant to, like, they did a good job at making that game what it was supposed to be. And playing it alone is not how that game was supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah. I love Four Swords. I did not play the new one very much though, because it was on the 3DS. I didn't really want to. I like never wanted to use my 3DS because I had the original 3DS with its 2-hour battery. What's everyone's favorite Zelda like? Non-Zelda Zelda game.
Binding of Isaac is my all-time favorite game, actually.
It is a Zelda-like.
Is that a Zelda-like?
Which is, yeah, Edmund McMillan.
All right.
His
I'll
big
agree then.
inspiration is the original Zelda game.
I will
Or
agree
Makes
then.
sense.
I do like Isaac.
It's got big
A
original
lot of-
Zelda energy.
Yeah, it has a lot of nods that once you know that, you can
Yeah.
really pick it up. There's a lot, like,
The
exploding
crossfaces
the walls.
are directly from
Yeah.
Zelda. I'm a big Isaac fan, so yes, I will agree then.
I do not care for the Binding of Isaac, but it's mainly because of I just don't like it. It grosses me out.
That is the point.
It's
Yeah.
funny. I was talking to someone about this the other day where they were like, not to get like super serious here, but like if you kind of I grew up in a very much that kind of thematic where like almost toxic Christianity, and then you kind of don't notice those themes being as gross maybe as they should be if you kind of grew up in that, and then other people look at it and be like, oh, that game is gross. And you're like, oh, yeah, I guess that is kind of dark and gross. And
Well, it's not even the darkness so much. It's the physical grossness of it. It doesn't work with me as somebody who has like germophobia and OCD.
Oh, okay,
Like,
that's
like,
totally
badly.
different. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
totally different than where I
Yeah.
was going. Yeah, I could see that though, because it's just there's
Any sort of like physical grossness is
you
just,
don't like the guts splattering.
and like there's poop everywhere,
Yeah.
and it's just like
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
Meat Boy was fine, but even Super
That's-
Meat Boy was even
that's
still pushing it
interesting.
a little bit.
That's interesting
Like-
that you would be okay with Super Meat Boy. Is it because of the poop?
The thing
Is
with
the poop itself? Like I could see that being.
like Super Meat Boy, the only thing
factor.
the only thing that was like particularly like rough was all the medical waste imagery.
Mhm.
But then like the blood didn't really bother me. I think part of it too is that Super Meat Boy is so like low res.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's a lot more like it's a lot less visceral.
Right.
Also, that game's just fun.
I think it's so fast paced too, right?
Yeah,
Where-
yeah. You can't focus on it because
Yeah.
you'll lose.
Yeah. And that's everything goes just that was a great thing that Edmund McMillan did with that game as it's just everything's so fast you die and you're back again ready to go. Which I think is how games like that should be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like playing Celeste and being like, "Oh, this is kind of slow."
Hmm.
After playing Meat Boy, because Meat Boy, like it's like I don't know, like 100 milliseconds before you're back in with another life, and Celeste has that little animation. It's just long enough that I'm like, I think this is worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like with games like that where it's meant to be a very difficult 2D platformer, you need to be able to restart the room instantly for it to not get irritating.
Yeah.
That was like, it's like I didn't do any of the end game stuff in Mario Odyssey because it's like you gotta watch the little coin tick down animation. I'm like, this is slow enough that I'm just like, all right, I'm good actually. Well,
Just don't die.
oh,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what my favorite Zelda like. I'm trying to think of like what's the most outlandish answer I could give, but like I don't know what that would.
Tingle.
Tingle's not a Zelda like. Tingle
It
defies
is a Zelda.
genres.
Me saying Tingle just activated my phone. Just want to let you know that.
Okay, Tingle.
Okay, Tingle.
They should add because you could you can like change the Alexa to respond to
Ooh.
different things.
Can I have Tingle be my GPS?
Yes, Nintendo, make it happen. What would that even be? I want Animal Crossing GPS actually.
Ooh. Yeah, I would like that.
Yeah.
Yep. It would be
What are
completely
you saying?
useless, but
Hi, this is post-production May, the May that gets added in after the fact. Did you know we have a Patreon? If you're already a Patreon subscriber, this message isn't for you. Thank you, we love you, you can tune out for this part. But if you're not, for only $3 a month, you can get access to episodes early and get a bonus episode at least once per month. The bonus episodes are like different from the regular episodes. They're a lot more unhinged, which is kind of saying something. You get access to all the ones we've already done, even if you subscribe now, so that's cool. We don't want to have to run ads during this program, because ads suck, and supporting us via the Patreon helps us not have to do that. You can check it out at patreon.com/dearpbpod if you're interested and can afford to do so. You're already supporting us by listening to the show and telling others about it, so this is kind of like a bonus thing you could do if you really like it. Okay, cool, I'm done, bye.
it
What
would
if
make me happy.
What if we did
That's
an
all that
entire
matters.
episode?
I can get lost and be happy, you know?
Exactly.
We
What
are
if did
not doing the entire episode with Animal Crossing
with
voices.
Animal Crossing?
I refuse.
Hear me out.
You gotta get someone on to speedrun Animal Crossing GameCube 100%.
Oh God.
And
Animal
just only Animal Crossing voices the whole time. It's like a
We'll get
20-hour
an-
speedrun.
Yeah.
Bonus episode, we get an Animal Crossing runner on, and we just do Animal Crossing voices for the entire
Oh
episode.
God.
And then we add in post-production a full
Captions.
episode of captions.
Oh
It would
man,
be a
that's
lot of-
so much work.
It'd be a lot of work, but it'd be so good.
The payoff. The
That would be
payoff.
pretty good. Well,
And by a
if we
whole
get
episode,
enough
I
people
mean, like,
watching
10
our bonus
minutes.
episodes,
True.
if we get enough people
So yeah.
watching,
If you
I
want
will
to see
consider
that,
it.
if you want to see that, then subscribe to the Patreon.
I will call
if-
out our dear Patreon viewers and say that our last bonus episode has 3 views. So
What
go watch
are
it.
Are they the personal besties, or we just found something else? I don't remember.
I think
Are
personal
they
besties
dearest
was good.
PBs?
Peebs was up there.
I don't think I like that as much as personal besties.
Personal besties, I think, is the best.
Yeah.
Ease. Haha.
Yeah, and
I
if
like
you're
that.
already a Patreon subscriber, A, thank you. And 2, if you want to see
A and 2.
two, there's that Roblox tier.
Yeah, if you have $10,000 in
$10,000
disposable
a month
income,
to
and
burn.
what are you
If you
doing?
want us to do Animal
But-
Crossing.
Anyways,
Hey, maybe throw some of that to like charity marathons instead of our stupid things. And B,
and 2,
and 2.
and I.
Dear PB, are there any randomizers you would consider running on stream outside the Zelda franchise? From Kirisawa.
Oh shoot. I've done some Ironmon. That counts as a randomizer
I've
outside
Yeah.
of the
such
Zelda.
thoughts about Iron Man. Oh my goodness.
I know
I'm
you do.
aware.
It's a hot topic.
We all know you do.
Oh my goodness. Look, I love the idea of Iron Man, and I hate the I don't hate the Iron Man community, because that's not right. I hate the political structure of Iron Man.
I mean, at the end of the day, Ironmon was designed for IHRPie, for his stream, and there was never the intention for it to be what it is today, right?
Hmm.
So,
Well, my
there's
problem with
definitely
it-
that, like, and, you know, it's meant for stream value. I think that's my argument there, is it was made for IHRPie stream value, and other people took it and ran with it.
like, I think it's sort of an inevitable thing in the era of streaming, right? Where like people are like, well, the Nuzlocke doesn't have a governing rules body or whatever. And it's like, yeah, but the Nuzlocke was a comic, and B was like before Twitch stream personalities were like a thing.
Mhm.
So it just
Yeah.
like has such a different origin. And like
Mhm.
the thing that I can't square the circle around with Iron Man is that yes, it is one person's challenge for their own purposes, but then also it's one person's challenge that they're all that like they aren't sort of like dropping any sort of like if you create a thing and then build a community and a community builds around it and you still exist as a figure role in that community, you do have responsibility foisted upon you, but I feel like you then have to take on the responsibility or be like, no, I'm not touching it. And like riding the fence of it doesn't it rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, I think that the issue there with that, I see where you're coming from. I think it's the lack of it bothers you that there's not like it doesn't expand to other gens, right? Like that's kind of
Well, so that's like one thing on my larger like my main issue specifically is that it is a thing that is specifically built for one game that took off
Mhm.
way beyond like what it was initially intended for, right? But then there's still like this extreme purity culture within that scene.
Mhm.
That is like 50% like people on the internet, because if you go and make your own rules, you'll get people in your chat being like, oh, what, the regular rules are too hard for you, maybe be a real gamer. Kind of like garbage.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of like purity, like rule purity culture stuff that I think is obnoxious. Like people say like, oh, just make your own rule set if you don't like it. It's like, yeah, but then like it's the same thing with like speedrunning, right? Like you want a rule set that everybody can like. It's useful to have a consistent set of rules so that everybody's operating like people compare to each other and things like that. And then I lost my second thought so hard.
No, but I get that. And I'm sure like as someone who does Pokemon speedruns, you probably have had a lot of people coming into your chat talking about Iron Mod to some degree, whether or not you're doing it. And
Yeah,
I don't know,
like,
maybe there's a separation with because you do later gens, but it is something that's kind of always there, whether or not you want to be a part of it.
Well, I did later gen Ironmon for a bit too, right? And well, I did my own variant on it because Ironmon is like the thing with Gen 3 Ironmon is that it's just the easiest gen to do it in, other than maybe Diamond and Pearl because of the random AI. Because starting in Gen 5 and above, there's just so much variance that it's like ridiculous, and none of the rule set scales. And it's like at the end of the day, it's not like a big thing, but also it's like, you know, I know a lot of people who are like into it and writing that for success, and like, you know, there's like it's gotten to the point where there are like material realities to it. Like people are now like making that their main thing, that is like how they're making all of their Twitch income, and so changes to the rules have a really big effect on that. And that's like why I got really annoyed about the like always play till the bitter end kind of thing. Is it's like that's great for your content, but it's not necessarily great for somebody else's content. And like it's more than just a personal challenge at this point. And if you want to still think of it as a personal challenge, then you need to be then you need to not fiddle with the rules.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. I see where you're coming from.
I have, as I think I said we can't get into it, and then I got into it.
Yeah,
no,
you
it's
definitely
fine.
did.
I'm glad to hear that side of it because I've always been the side where it's like, hey, this was not designed, it was originally not designed, but you're right, as it grows, like, and there's this community force with it too, coming in, whether or not that was what the original thing is, and nor should it, I think, it all be on one person's shoulders, but there should be, there needs to be more dynamic maybe with that whole community and more of a maybe more people helping to develop it since it has grown a lot bigger than it was originally supposed to be.
Like what kind of like did it for me was I was working on some modifications to the randomizer because there's a couple abilities that I think are absolutely nonsense. Like I think the imposter pretty much just like there's a couple abilities that were just like it's so much randomness that there isn't really any playability around, or like the playability is so niche that it's just like just unfun. And like imposter and insides out are the two abilities. Insides out is the worst ability ever for because
what are those? I actually don't know what those abilities do. What are those?
So imposter does what Ditto's transform does, but immediately.
Oh, okay.
So the fat fight just becomes speed tie hell. And like you can play around it because it doesn't copy HP stat and stuff, but again, it's like you have to hope that they have a lower HP stat than you. Essentially, that's like, or you just get it's. There's no really playing around it in the same way that like early Wonder Guard isn't. And then the insides out is it's like counter, but as a passive. So if you knock it out, you deal the damage that you dealt to it gets dealt back to you. And you don't know if it's going to happen until after it happens. So once you've seen it once, you can play around it because you know the Pokemon might have it and you can get it low and not one-shot it. But the only other way to do that is to only use multi-hit moves or never one-shot anything, which is not how you possibly win Ironmon. It's just like it doesn't work that way. And so I made a mod to get rid of it, and all the Gen 7 runners in the Ironmon server were like, oh my god, thank you so much. But then they were also like too afraid to use it because they were like essentially they were like, well, I don't want to do a run and have it be invalid, so I'll just wait to see what the mods say. And then like the one Gen 7 like person who does Gen 7 stuff was like, well, I haven't had problems with it.
Yeah,
it's
see,
supposed
that's
to
the
be
problem.
hard.
There's no community, like the community feedback is just being thrown
Yeah,
out,
exactly.
basically, which that's definitely a big problem, and I see the frustration there with that.
And then I got like in an argument and eventually left because that's like the last time I engaged with Ironmon stuff directly is after like that argument where I was just like, I don't like. Yeah, the rules are supposed to be BS, but there's a difference between the rules being like unfairly hard and the rules being blatantly unfun. Like every single yes, you can play around Perish Song, but I've never met a single person who's like, I'm so glad this is part of it.
I love Perish Song.
Except for if you're a very large streamer and can make a highlight reel of it.
True. Do it for content.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of the ethos of it.
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of circle back to that. I think at the end of the day, it was made for stream value, right? Like
for sure, yeah.
So it doesn't have that same and that's what I kind of have said to people too when they come to my stream and say, "Oh, this challenge like seems like cheeks," and I'm like, "Yeah," but it's also like it's for the viewer enjoyment. I think at the end of the day, audiences that like that stuff. So that's why I don't, I do it mostly for that. But there is there's a lot that goes into that too. And then of course as you're saying, the differences between gens and lack of, being able to give feedback, having feedback listened to, that's a problem.
I think that's the real thing. It's just like, there are a lot of things where it's like, you could get rid of this and it wouldn't make the challenge really easier, it would just cut down on resets. Like things like the random starter and the like I know a lot of people who just don't do random starter anymore because they're like, it's just 3 times the resets, there's no point. And like letting you swap out a pair song and things like that. Where it's like even the ladder isn't even like a like that's still a choice you have to make because you're risking other things by doing that. So it's not even necessarily free. Like you're risking roar and things like that. But I don't think that decreases the enjoyment of viewers or runners at all to like not have those kind of moments where it's just there's literally nothing you can do. You just happen to get so unlucky unless you're specifically going for like the sort of like longevity, like how can I make this last as long as possible? Like how long can I milk this?
Right.
And like this, I feel like this, like my opinions of this align pretty heavily with my thoughts on speedrunning leaderboards. Yeah, this is related to speedrunning. Hold on, which is like you should do the things that make the lives of runners better, because at the end of the day, like it's people doing the thing, and so if you're making if your rules are based on some sort of arbitrary like ideal that has like negative like that like lowers the enjoyment for the people actually doing the thing, then that's something that I think you should look at.
I mean, look at how many speedruns are starting to cut out like beginning cutscenes.
Exactly, yeah.
And I was talking about this not too long ago about how it seems that's something that should have happened so long ago and we've had the capability to do, but why has it not happened for a lot of speedruns, you know?
Because
it's like
purity.
Purity,
People
yeah.
are always hung up on. Well, back when I used to do it, I used to reset. I used to have to wait 10 minutes after reset, so you should too. Like,
yeah,
and it's
no.
you know
like
that's such a horrible argument to have. Like, you don't just because you had to suffer through it doesn't mean that we have to keep making people continue to suffer through it.
Yeah,
we can grow from that. We can move forward. We can see, hey, that sucked when I had to do that. Let's make sure no one else has to keep doing that.
Right.
And here's the May real politics corner, which is if your politics in the rest of your life are like we should make things better for the people, for like ourselves and the people who come after us, which like should be your politics. Your goal should not be to make society worse. Why is all of a sudden the video game the place where you're willing to die on the hill of actually it was bad before and it's supposed to be shit, and if you don't like it, there's the door.
Yeah. No.
Like I know a lot of people, or I feel like I know a lot of people who like those two things like are like ostensibly leftist, but then when it comes to like their hobby, they're like, oh, it should be hard and bad. It's like, but why? Like, do you not understand how these two things are at odds with each other? Like what you claim to believe in terms of like your core beliefs as a person and how how it's being expressed in a much lower stakes scenario. Absolutely. But like also in a much lower stakes scenario, it's easier to change it.
Right.
Turboize your community.
As always.
As always, turboize your community.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? What other randomizers would you consider running? I'm so sorry to the answer of this question.
Oh gosh, I'm like trying to think of. It's funny. Oh, I've done Paper Mario Rando as well.
Ooh.
That one's a lot of fun. I've been meaning to
cool.
pick that up again. It actually lends itself very well to a randomizer.
Swoosh and I have done Archipelago, and that's fun.
That is fun.
So I've done Slay the Spire, and I've done Slay the Spire Rando is actually really fun, and I've done Risk of Rain 2 and Minecraft, which as somebody who had not played vanilla Minecraft since I don't know, like 12 versions ago, I was like, what is all this stuff? What?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
For those who are not aware, Archipelago is a multi-world, multi-game randomizer. So you have any number of people, I don't know if it's limited, playing a bunch of different games that have it supported. And say I'm playing SM64 and May is playing Minecraft. So each achievement in the game is like a different check. So like in 64, it's every star you get and all the keys. In Minecraft, it's a certain number of advancements. So say I get a star in 64, I could give May tools or like the next set of armor or something, and vice versa. So it's pretty
That's
cool.
really
There's a lot of
cool.
games that are supported.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I've never
And-
heard of that, and I wonder why, because that sounds really
Is
cool.
this?
It is very
Like,
good content.
It's so good.
Ocarina
also-
of Time is supported, so
Yeah, you should check it
Oh,
out.
should
I'll
definitely
have to
do
look
it.
into that.
We could do a bonus
Yeah.
episode where we just do Archipelago
We
with a bunch of
could do.
guests.
Hmm.
Yeah, because a really cool thing is it is, yeah.
It
A
is.
really cool thing about Archipelago is it like defines a like standard for randomizer logic,
Mhm.
because like it has to be game agnostic logic, right?
Yeah.
So you have to define it in a way where every game can interact with each other and logic can be cross game, and thus like they have a standard for how you define like items and rooms and how they're all connected and what's behind where and settings and things like that. And it's very like neat on a like an algorithmic level as well. And it's just cool.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
is
that's-
very,
I looked
very
I'm
interesting.
really gonna have to look into that because that
It's
sounds
super cool,
very
yeah.
much up my alley.
Oh yeah, 'cause, yeah, you can
Yeah, I
do it
mean-
with. Let's go. You can do. I have the list.
There's a
pulled up.
lot of games.
Yeah, what
Link to
are
the
some of
Past.
the games on there?
Factorio, Final Fantasy 1, Hollow Knight, Meritus, Minecraft, Ocarina, Raft, Risk of Rain 2, Rogue Legacy, Secret of Evermore, Slay the Spire, SMZ3, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, StarCraft 2, Subnautica, Super Mario 64, Super Metroid, The Witness, Time Spinner, and VVVVVV.
A lot of
Lot of
things.
choices.
Some games have fewer checks than others, like Minecraft does
Yeah.
not have that many versus SM64, which can have up to 120. So
Mhm.
you kind of
Yeah.
should balance it a little bit based on
Which
what
we
games you're
learned
playing.
very
but
quickly. When
yeah,
we had like
we,
one with like 120 checks, one with like 16. We were
Hollow
like,
Knight
oh,
had
gosh.
like Hollow Knight full rando had like 600.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you are playing balanced enough. But it is very
it
cool.
It is confusing to get started with, but once you do, it is a very neat thing.
Yes.
And like, I hope there more games get added for it. I looked into adding Crystal Key Item Randomizer and was like, I don't have a good way to do this with my knowledge of the Game Boy Color, so I'm not going
Right.
to.
Yeah. Couple games were just added like last month. It was Sonic Adventure 2 and
StarCraft, I think, was added recently.
That makes sense, yeah. Currently, there is a 600 worlds async randomizer
Yeah.
going on in
Oh,
the main
wow.
Discord. So that's cool.
It's a lot of worlds.
That is a lot.
It was also cool that it can be async.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
That's
It's being done async. I didn't even catch that part. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
So
Just check in and go-
I'm reading the spreadsheet of like everyone's like game and their status, and there's a lot of stuff that's like I've been in BK mode for the past week. Like it's like, all right, that sucks.
well, like, have you ever done like for Civ 6 they added like a play by chess mode, or like chess async plays type of thing, and they had it forever
Mhm.
with like play by email, but they added one where it's like you get like a little Steam notification that's like it's your turn,
Right.
and it's the way that it kind of plays out is like, what if Civilization took even longer? And like
yeah,
our
what if it
group
was a
chat
matter of days instead of hours?
our group chat just became take your fucking turn. It's your turn, go. Ah.
There
don't remember
are
blowing
a
up
lot
the
of
eyes.
people.
Of the thing. There are a lot of people in the world.
That's true.
That's you can quote us on that.
In this 600 world thing, there are multiple people that are playing multiple games, This person has 6 instances of Link to the Past. I don't really know why you would do that, but you could.
Are they all randomized? Or all the same?
I think they're all randomized. That's the point.
Wait. Yeah. It's Archipelago. Of course they're all randomized. I was like,
yeah.
6 vanilla Link to the Past.
Yeah, so it's just like, today I'll play on my 3rd slot for Link to the Past, and then maybe tomorrow I'll pick up the 5th. Like,
I would maybe pick
that's
2
a
different
lot.
games, but
two
that's
is
just me.
reasonable.
That
2
gets-
different games.
yeah.
as
No,
well.
yeah, 2 different
Yeah.
games specifically.
Yeah.
What if 2 Minecrafts? 2 Minecrafts
Whoa.
might actually be okay.
Who's doing the most games? I wonder.
I would not be able to keep those 6 like games in my mind, you know?
Yeah, me either.
Like, I feel like I would be like, oh yeah, I do not have the thing.
This person's doing 6 separate games.
Okay,
Factorio,
yep.
Super Metroid, SM64, SMZ3, Time Spinner, and Link to the Past. Okay, so it's like 4.5 different games. Because
That's
SMZ3.
Yeah, it's much easier to manage because they're different things.
Right. But you still kind of like gotta know where all your stuff is.
Sure, but it's not like which file am I in because these are all the
Right.
same game.
Yeah.
There's at least like a visual difference.
Right.
Have I done any other randos? I've done Pokemon rando. That's how we
Yeah.
got in this whole sort
This
of
whole mess.
this whole mess. Yeah.
Games with randomizers. The
Like,
big list of
I
video
feel
game
like at this
randomizers.
point, if you
It's-
name a game, it probably has a random.
There are a lot, yeah.
Where's Hat in
Um,
Time randomizer?
There is one, kind of.
It just randomizes the yarns. You don't necessarily get the hat you need.
God.
I mean, Hat in Time could totally work with Archipelago because you don't even have to, like in the same way Mario 64 does. I think we tried to convince Yoshi to do
the
it.
problem is communicating with the actual
Yeah.
Archipelago server is basically impossible with the code base of Hat in Time.
I thought
Um,
that was maybe fixed.
I don't remember because there was another mod that like tried to do something similar where I think crowd control,
Yeah.
where it tried to have to communicate with it out of the like a separate server, and it just like never worked.
But what if you just read the memory
True.
from an external application? That would work.
There is a Tunic randomizer.
That's new.
There's a Terraria randomizer.
Tunic randomizer sounds hard.
It's just an item rando.
That makes sense. There's a full map rand. I still have not done full map rando in Plat. Plat
Oh,
map
one of the-
randos.
The new hot ones is DK64 rando.
Yeah.
I feel collectathons are. I feel like are like perfect for rando.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Banjo-Kazooie
I
randomizer.
was gonna say,
Yep,
is there a banjo
yep.
one? I feel like there has to
Yep.
be.
I
I've
just
heard
was
that one.
looking.
I haven't heard much about it, but I have heard from a couple people that one's pretty good.
I
So.
might consider it.
Sounds
I
kind of fun.
still need to play the game more, but
Is there a
it's not an
randomizer
option.
for? I don't know. What other video games are there?
there's a
That's okay,
randomizer
right?
for Chex Quest.
Okay.
It's
Chex
like
Quest.
it's like the generic Doom rando. I guess it just works for all like Doom likes.
That's fun.
There are a lot of Civ ones,
Civ is already randomized.
but it's like extra rando.
Like the tech tree's randomized. That's cool.
I don't know actually.
But
Ooh, there's a Wisconsin map.
oh, they say there's a Wisconsin randomizer. Episode title:
Wisconsin
the
randomizer.
Wisconsin randomizer.
That was good. This rando page linked to a bunch of map scripts for Civ, and it's just a lot of different map types.
Are you on the big RA?
Yes.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts 2 is good. I've done KH2 rando before. I didn't finish it though because I don't know what I'm doing.
What about
World
Dicey
of Light
Dungeons?
randomizer. Yeah,
World of
Dicey
Light,
Dungeons
the
has
same.
like a bunch of new like the Dicey Dungeons modding is weird though.
What about
Welcome to DPB, a podcast where we say "What about?" We don't even say things.
what about
Fallout.
Fallout New
4.
Vegas? No, New Vegas.
Okay, it is better. Hitman 3 has a rando. How
Interesting.
does that work?
I don't know.
It randomizes. Okay, that makes sense. It randomizes the world, hero, NPC, and stash inventories.
Huh.
So stuff's just in different places. That sounds fun. But I'm
Yeah.
already pretty bad at Hitman. So
Paper Mario.
Paper Mario. Oh, the Infinite
is a
Pit
good one.
randomizer.
It's also the loading zone
Metroid. They made one for
randomizer.
Super Metroid. That's wild.
Oh,
Whoa.
yeah.
Minecraft
That's
has
a-
one.
I've
No,
never heard of that before. Do you think they made one for Ocarina of Time?
No, certainly
We
not.
should look into that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. That's a cool concept.
I like that there's like 9 billion Pokemon ones, but like you can just use Universal Randomizer now. So
You want to do a Minecraft randomizer?
I mean,
Random blocks, random block drops, random mob drops.
Conquest has a randomizer. That sounds fun.
Huh.
God knows I'm not good at Conquest, but
Plants vs Zombies.
open
Windows
roller
phone.
coaster
Oh!
Tycoon 2
How do you randomize? What are you randomizing in there?
scenario goal, scenario lengths, park values, park flags such as
Okay.
marketing campaigns, the base stats of each ride. I'm gonna send this to a
The
friend.
base stats of each ride. Does it change their IVs too?
Yeah. Because the way it works is that it takes the base stats and it randomly allocates them to the
Right.
Super Smash TV, which for the longest time I thought was a Smash game as a child. SpongeBob SquarePants: The Battle for Bikini Bottom,
Of course.
Tetris,
Uh-huh.
NES Tetris. It overrides
Literally
normal,
how?
It overrides normal RNG.
Wow.
Simpsons Hit and Run. Metopia.
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 Awesome. There's a Plants vs Zombies randomizer. According to this list, it requires the Windows Phone version of the game. I don't know how that works.
That's very specific.
That is very
Yeah,
specific.
that is very specific.
I'm curious.
XCOM randomizer sounds fun. But there's not one for XCOM 2, interestingly.
Huh.
So
Okay,
I thought XCOM 2 has so many shitpost mods.
I think
so
you just
good.
like find a ROM of the Windows Phone version of the game and then this patches it. That
I
makes
feel
more
like
sense.
this list might not be totally up to date too.
Definitely not.
Because I know that I believe Chibi Robo has one now.
It does.
I believe
That's
we learned
like
that in a previous
that's like
episode
very new
of this
yeah.
show. Wow.
Whoa, that's a reference to
Wow.
ourselves.
Wow. You should watch the previous episodes of this show. What are we planning on making time for this, out of curiosity?
What do you mean?
What's our goal in this run right now?
I don't know. I'm just.
I don't know. I don't know
doing
if you
things.
can. Yeah, I
I'm
don't know
just
if you can set a
speeding
goal
things.
with Rendo. You kind
All
of just
right,
get
our goal
stuff.
is one
I've
more
beat-
heart piece.
One
We're
more
doing
heart
it-
piece? Or you want,
Yeah, we're
want me to
doing-
beat this? I can beat this dungeon. That could
Okay.
be a
Okay.
goal.
Okay,
That'll
that
be
works
3
too. I was
dungeons beaten.
Three. All right,
Perfect.
we're doing
New
3
category.
dungeon
Perfect.
randomizer. I
Yeah.
was gonna say 8 heart or 9 heart randomizer, but that works too.
we
Blue
can
rupee
do that.
randomizer.
Blue rupee %.
Perfect.
So that's the problem with these tend to go at least 2 hours, which
Right, yeah.
and that's
Yeah,
if you
I-
get a nice fast one. So
Yeah.
I don't want to like come off as like we have to go. We have-
no,
we-
no, no,
Be
no.
gone.
We just gotta set an endpoint so we don't have a 2-hour long episode.
Yes,
Not like there's anything wrong with that.
There's a little bit wrong
We're
with that
fiving.
A little
because
bit.
I mean we could split it.
I have stuff to do, but
Yeah, we could split it into 2 things, but I'm currently playing. I don't think you're supposed to be inside that box. Okay, I've been playing Yakuza Kiwami, and I want to keep playing it
ooh.
because I'm finally stopping being a fake fan and actually playing going through and playing the games instead of just. 2 of
That's a
them.
series I've looked into getting into, but haven't. It's
Oh,
so
it's so-
hard
It's so
putting
good.
the time into JRPGs.
I know it's so. That's why I haven't done it too. Because I played Zero and Like a Dragon, and they're both phenomenal. And I was like, I should play the rest of them. And then I was like, but when would I possibly have the time? They're super long. Which why I never beat 7 remake too, because it's just so long.
But I
Yeah.
finally got into like the Persona series
I did not beat Persona 5.
at the start of the whole pandemic. I was like, well, I have time all of a sudden.
Fair.
So I sat down and I
Yeah.
played Persona 5.
Play a long game.
Yeah, I played what's this gonna be? A key. I played like 2/3 of Persona 5 and then was like, all right, I'm good. I don't know. I have thoughts about Persona 5.
You have thoughts.
I tend to have. I'm full of thoughts.
Yeah.
I think Persona 5
Head full.
as a video game is very good, and as a story is quite bad.
Yeah, I actually agree on that.
Yeah.
And I like the game a lot. I recently played Persona 4 and I actually like that a lot better because I think the
I hear Persona 4 is
storytelling-
just better. Yeah.
Yeah, the storytelling's way better. The way they did it in 5 was they basically spoil to you what's going to happen before it happens. Every
Yeah.
single arc. And
They
I was
watched
not a fan
Memento.
of that.
But like, and like that plus like Persona 5's like what's the phrase? Like its morals are at odds with themselves in a lot of
Mhm.
ways, and that it's like trying to like do serious social commentary on things while also falling into tropes like JRPG tropes
Hmm.
that like counteract the mess that's messaging is at odds with itself. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
In like some very obvious ways once you like notice it, which is like
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah. I see where you're coming from with that too. Yeah.
Yep. And like
It
people keep
doesn't
being like, you
feel
should
good.
play. Also, people keep being like, you should play Royal, and I'm like, I'm not playing the whole game again. Why is this not just an expansion? It's like, well, because it adds new stuff during the plot. I'm like, great, so I have to pay attention too. I can't just fast forward. That's extra bad.
Though I
Yeah.
will say, in terms of DLC content, that is my favorite arc of all time is the Royale arc. But
I hear it
but
is
you have to
good.
play through, like 100
Yeah.
something hours of game again. So it stinks if you've already played through the game or did that because it's a lot. It's a lot to go
Just
through.
let me
so
play
I-
through, like, let me play through the part that's new, and like, oh well, you wouldn't have the context of the character. You could write a little like what you would have missed thing. I don't know. There's ways to do this that aren't making me play 100 hours of video game again.
I think what it
refuse.
boils down to though is like the there's a big Persona fandom at this point that they will
True.
sit down and they will play the game again and again and again, right? Like, so to them, I don't know. But there's so many people like us who wouldn't play it again.
Yeah, like at least when Kingdom Hearts gets like plot, like new plot stuff behind like bullshit, it's like, oh, you have to play this phone game, not you have to play the same game again.
I am
Download
very
the
bad
phone
at
game;
playing
it's fine.
story-driven games. I never play any like long things like that. I should, but I just don't.
I do like a mix, honestly, where it's like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I'm down to do a story-driven game, but then sometimes I'm like, then like I'll do one, I'll be like, all right, that was good for a bit. Time to go play like a puzzle game.
Yeah,
Or
a
platformer.
I think I'll feel like once a year I play a nice story game and then I have to take a break for a while.
Yeah.
What about a story game where the story is completely irrelevant to the actual gameplay? So you could ignore it if you want to, but if you did pay attention to it, it's kind of fun. And of course, check out our last episode with Amerlin and go play Neon White. It's so good.
You've been playing that game too, yeah? Have you been getting a
I,
speedrun
like-
in that?
Started learning the levels and then had a million things come up. So I would like to learn it, just like not at like any sort of like, I don't plan not to like grind or anything, but just to like, oh, I can do commentary and like get a run on the boards kind of thing, kind of like what I did for Hat. But I'm probably gonna do PBR next instead. So
I don't know which
I don't
is
know.
better.
which is what?
Which is better,
Oh,
the
as a
4-hour
run?
PBR or
Definitely,
long.
definitely the 40-minute long Neon White
Yeah.
is a better idea. But I bought a Wii U, so I need to use it.
Is it that much of a loss if you don't use it though?
Well, I could play Amiibo Festival with it, so that's a win. Are there runs for Amiibo Festival?
Of course there are.
There's not always runs. There's usually
There are
runs.
always runs.
There are in
You
fact
could
runs.
you could start a run.
Exactly. You can. be the
Desert
first one to
Island
run.
Escape, 38 minutes. Okay, I have to do this. I need to run Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival,
no.
Desert Island Escape. Oh my goodness, this has to be
There,
terrible.
for
and
your Animal Crossing episode.
Yeah.
true. All right, I'm gonna. What is this? Is this just pure RNG?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Those are the best runs. That's why I do randomizers.
I mean, that's what Amiibo Festival traditionally is just pure RNG.
It's like not even like productive RNG either.
No, it's like Catan. I think with RNG, of course.
Mm-hmm.
What if Catan had more RNG? And was I don't know what this is. I'll be honest, I have not played a lot of Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. But
Good.
Watch this space.
Okay.
Is there an Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival? Oh, it's the Animal Crossing speedrunning Discord. It's not just the Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival Discord.
You can revive the Amiibo Festival channel in the Discord, probably.
Hell yes. I wonder when people laugh. I looked into running the original Animal Crossing a while ago. The last message in the Amiibo Festival channel was 3 months and 10 days ago.
I'm gonna say either 3 years or 3 hours ago.
Oh, in order to do the run, it requires certain figures and cards.
Oh.
I wonder if anyone sells the speedrunning set on eBay.
The speedrunning set. How many do you need?
Well, there's only 3 runs, so
okay. Maybe you can optimize to find the fastest set of.
So I
Amiibo.
do have the figure, because in order to launch the game, you do need a figure.
Right. I mean, it comes with the game. So,
wait.
Well, if you buy it new, at least.
Do you need all of these cards, or do you need? No, I see.
My controller stopped being responsive for a moment there, so that was a lot of fun.
I apologize for the sheer degree of distracted I've gotten at Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
I'm for
That's
it.
fine.
As someone who supports, the idea of 100% running, Animal Crossing games.
Okay, so
imagine doing long challenge runs. Could never be me.
This channel I scrolled up and off screen. So okay, this channel has about 25 messages total. The first one is from 2021, August 4th. That just says this game sucks.
I mean, are they wrong?
See, it's speedrunners.
Oh, you could just write blank NFC cards.
That's illegal.
Is it?
I don't think so.
I don't think it's illegal. I think it's illegal to sell them.
Don't sell them.
Or I could just buy up booster packs of Amiibo cards. All right, hold on. They got really expensive during the pandemic. Animal Crossing Amiibo cards.
I want to say it's gone
1.
down because not everyone's playing Animal Crossing anymore, right?
Oh my god, they're so expensive.
Are they? I know the
Wait,
Amiibo
okay.
are cheap. The cards might be different.
But not all of them have. So I have Digby and Isabel. Sprinkle. A Sprinkle Amiibo card is $15.
What?
That can't be right.
That doesn't sound right.
$30 here.
for a card.
Why is this the rarest card?
I don't even. Who
It's
the
fast
heck
for the
is
speed run.
Sprinkle? Who is Sprinkle?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
who is Sprinkle?
Sprinkle's like a duck.
Okay.
And
All right,
why?
KK Slider Amiibo has to just exist as an Amiibo, right?
Yeah, KK
Yes.
Slider is regular.
Yeah. That's all right. Hold on. Let's add to cart. I might already have a Mabel. I don't need a Mabel.
Just buy a bunch of card packs. All the card packs are actually really expensive.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, just buy an individual card then.
Who is
Go on
Jingle?
eBay. Isn't Jingle the
Jingle's
reindeer,
the
special
reindeer,
character? Yeah.
Yeah.
Find on Amazon. Okay, Jingle's $4. That's not bad. But
Okay, you can just find like a seller on eBay that sells all of them, and then just pick the ones you want. Like if you want the card of Sprinkle, it's out of stock.
great.
There's a lot of speedrunners. It's because they're all
Alright.
trying to speedrun.
What is so hot about Sprinkle?
That's the only one that's it's Sprinkle and Bianca are the only ones from this seller that are out of stock.
Alright.
I've never even heard of Sprinkle.
I don't know who Sprinkle
and I
is.
play Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Blathers is easy. Queenie.
All right, how much is
I'm
the
gonna get
moose
if I get the
card?
whole set,
$4 for moose.
then I'm like committed, right? Queenie
Sure.
is
Yeah.
1 cent. This can't possibly be right.
I love the amiibo
All
card
right, so
economy.
that balances
plus $4
out
shipping.
The Sprinkle card.
I mean, this seller has it out of stock. I don't know how much. All right, let's see this other one. I don't know what
Alright,
series it's in.
This is gonna be a repro. I'm gonna get scammed, but it'll be fine. Kimmy.
A repro of an amiibo card.
Are you? So I learned during the pandemic that Etsy can be a good spot to get these cards too.
Really?
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
I would look up on Etsy.
Choose any villager. Series 1 to 5. There's no way these aren't repros.
The Sprinkle card is like $7. Also, Sprinkle's a penguin, not a duck.
My bad.
Oh, Sprinkle! Now I know who Sprinkle is.
See?
Now that you said the penguin.
My
Yep.
bad. Okay, drag me harder. Thank you.
Are you even
have you
a
ever
real
seen
Animal
a
Crossing
penguin?
fan?
Gosh, yeah, really fake Animal Crossing fan. Well, they gotta buy the card so you know what the character looks
I'm
like.
gonna buy all the amiibos that I can. 'Cause I think it's more fun if I have the amiibos versus the cards. I feel like that's not a hot take.
No, I think
No.
the figures are cooler than the cards.
I'm realizing
Exactly.
we'll be ending this run by beating some kind of Ganon.
Oh, I thought we were gonna end the run.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna end the run by me buying a bunch of amiibos on Amazon.
Well, that's
That
like
as
the-
well.
Yeah,
That's bonus content. Yeah.
All right.
that's when you end time. Yeah.
When you
I
buy
need
when
the
you
new
buy the
If I
card,
rule.
it's
four
done.
villagers, then I get 1 free.
Oh man.
That's
As,
savings you can't get anywhere else.
You know what? I'll bring that up to the Zooter Council of Zooter rules, and we'll make sure to change.
Yeah,
that
make
time
sure-
ends when May buys all the Animal Crossing cards.
Every time you buy a new card, you can end your run.
All right. Well, I bought the amiibos. I gotta see. Whoa, this is $8 in shipping. Hold up. Hold up. They're trying to
Just the
scam
card.
me.
Can you buy me the ketchup card? It's apparently $100 with only one sold.
That's seems like a lot.
Yeah.
This one's on sale. But what is
All
shipping
right,
for this
May,
one?
you got to
Free
buy
delivery.
the card so I can end my run.
All right, I'm gonna
I've
get the
done
card.
my
Well,
part.
so-
Now you got to buy your card.
Yeah.
No, I need to look at what cards I already have first. So
Oh, no.
I'm not gonna buy the cards right now. So you're stuck in here with it forever with us. I'm sorry. By that I mean, is that the end of the run? Is that time?
Yes.
All right.
Fine.
Time.
Time.
Woo!
Woo!
All right. Nukes, where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/nukkuler. That's spelled Nukkuler. You can also find me at the same name on Twitter and on Games Done Quick. I host 2 different hotfix shows. You should check those out. They're pretty neat.
You
No
check
Category
those
Left
out.
Behind in Victory Lap. I also hear there's another hotfix show coming up.
Whoa.
Probably will. I don't know. I don't know when these episodes.
At the time
get
of release,
released, but-
we will have done one episode, and we will have the next one at the end of this week.
True.
You make sure you check that if you didn't check out the first one, because
Yeah.
hello.
Check out all of them. It was very good
It was super good.
or very bad.
There'll
Probably very
be a
good.
link to description for that VOD in here in the
Yep.
notes.
You got it.
Because by that time this one comes out, it will definitely be uploaded. So you'll be able to watch it, and you should watch it. But you should also watch it live to boost our viewership numbers. What? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you like the show, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/dearpbpod. Send in your questions. There's a form in the description. We need your questions to live.
True.
Thanks for either thanks for doing the Patreon or do the Patreon.
Yeah, that one.
Patreon.com/dear
Dear
PB pod.
Peeb.
You get a bonus episode at least once a month. They're like the regular episodes, but more unhinged, which is saying something because I went on a rant about Iron Man for like 20 minutes in this one, and it's
Yeah.
somehow worse than that. I think
Okay,
that's it,
bye.
right? Don't be racist.
Don't be racist. Bye.
Goodbye.